Good morning, everybody. It's Sunday morning. I hope you guys have had a good weekend so far. You can sit back and enjoy a little talk with everybody. It's that time in the morning or the time in the afternoon to just sit down and relax for a few minutes. We got everybody here. Mr. Bryant from No Border Sports, Jon Jay from the Ultimate Report, 49ers Ultimate Report. Remember that. And we have Steve-O. If you don't know Steve-O, you haven't been around. Steve-O is everywhere. So today's topic is going to be a little bit about tight ends. So if you guys have any suggestions about tight ends or anything, drop it in the comments. We'll try to get to the comments. But what we're going to be basically talking about is I think there's been 6 tight ends that the Niners have met with, and we're going to be kind of going over those guys. So let's start it out. How's everybody doing this morning?
Good. I'm over here like Korey.
Yep. Good.
All right. Well, guys, I like starting the day out, with a good joke, and sometimes it's not always a good joke, but it's a decent joke, right? So we're going to load my joke first. All right. Sometimes, you end up reading the answer at the end, but what did the janitor say when he jumped out of the closet? Supplies.
Oh, I like that.
That's over
I
my
like
head.
that. Supply closet in school.
Yep. Yep. What did the janitor say when he jumped out of the closet? Supplies. So
Shout out to Bebop coming in early after his birthday.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Bebop. One day older.
Bebop.
One day, all that good stuff.
Happy birthday, Bebop. What's up, everybody?
What's up,
Happy
fellas?
birthday.
Yo.
Oh, what up?
Happy birthday, Bebop. You want us to sing it?
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Bebop. So if you want to tell us how old you are, that's cool. If not, that's fine. But hopefully you did something fun. Maybe went somewhere out to eat somewhere nice, or had a nice beer, or at least a good friend to enjoy it with. So definitely. So, Mr. McNiner, we took your suggestion for the topic today. So we are going to be talking about the tight ends that the Niners met with over the last couple of days. I feel pretty confident. I think they're going to be taking a tight end. What are you guys' thoughts?
They've talked to 6 just at the combine. We're not sure who else they've talked to. And I'm highly confident they're taking a tight end because, George Kittle is pushing 30. His playing style, is going to be aging out pretty fast. He's not going to last until he's 40. So, it's only a matter of time before we. And on top of that, with the young QBs we have, having two good tight ends, in the game would just benefit them.
Not just that, but it'd be nasty having that 22 personnel with 2 tight ends, having the other team have to bring out bigger boys to face us up front in the run game, and then we can spread them out and cut them up with the mismatches. Yep.
So I've been looking at their draft profiles just to see what they grade out and all this stuff, and at the end I was going to look up our tight end George Kittle's, and I just did. And this is what they say about him: average backup or special teamer.
Sounds legit.
That's what they graded George Kittle to be going into the draft.
That sounds about NFL type. You know what I'm saying? The way I see it is a lot of these people and these scouts, they're afraid to say someone's good because they never really work out. So they don't go in on some of these guys that no one knows about. They just kind of, confirmation bias, talk good about everybody that everybody else is talking good about. That's one thing I've noticed. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be some turds in the quarterback position out of this draft. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be some turds. But right now, everybody in the media is in love with like every single one of them. Am I not wrong?
Yep.
Yeah, it seems like this guy right here, Zach Kuntz, he might be one of the best, but this guy right here I'm going to bring up, he seems like everybody's in love with him because of the school he went to. And that might be the case, but it doesn't mean just because you go to the same school, you're going to replicate what someone like George Kittle's done or something like that. So you look at like Joe Montana, Brady Quinn. Brady Quinn is not Joe Montana, but they both are Notre Dame quarterbacks. So, but there is something to be said, like some schools, they develop players a different way, or they put more aspects into it, or they just grind them differently, So I definitely am. I think we're taking a tight end, and I think it's going to be like 99, 101, or 102. I think it's going to be early we take it. I don't think we're going to be playing around. We also have
Well, if we don't
Davis
take
Allen,
a running back.
Yeah, I mean come on, I honestly think they're going to take a running back. I'm afraid they're going to take a running back, and that's like we don't need a running back. But we were talking last night or the other day, and someone said, "Hey, maybe Elijah Mitchell gets traded." If they trade Elijah Mitchell, there's a good chance they're taking a running back, and especially if they don't believe in TDP. We don't know what's up with TDP because why was TDP like not active and then Jordan Mason was? I think the only thing we could say for that was Jordan Mason played special teams, but TDP is going to be a make or break season. So we'll find out in a couple of days for sure. What do you think, Korey? When are you drafting a tight end?
I think they're going to draft him. They might draft him with in the third round. But the 101, I think is.
Mm-hmm.
101 or 102. That's 101 and 102 are pretty much the same pick, the way I look at it.
Yeah.
But I think they do go like edge or something first. The more needing spot, whoever's there, you know what I mean? That they're like, we need to make sure we get that guy. That guy goes at 99. But I'm a big proponent of them drafting 3 tackles, right? I can see them going for 2 tight ends. Not necessarily so close to each other, one in the 3rd, one in the 6th, 5th, something like that to try and, make sure there's a guy on the team.
Yeah, because if you get 1 out of 3, at least you got 1, but you took a shot. If you go, and just try 1, you might not get that guy. If you go 2,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And for them to take guard almost every year, it seems like it was either defensive lineman or guard. They haven't been we've been, relying on tackles for a while and older tackles. So who's going to be our next Trent Williams? Are they going to go after another veteran? So that's a good point. If
and
you
the way they
then you can develop
the way they scout guys, I am confident that they don't have to. Most teams have to pick people in the first couple rounds to do good. You know what I mean? The 49ers, as we know, they're good at picking in the later rounds. So that's why I think that's why I don't think they move up. Moving up, you're putting all your eggs in one basket. If you're staying where you're at, you can have multiple eggs, hatch them, and rear them up as your own. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So let's get into these tight ends a little bit. I can bring up the banners again, but Davis Allen, he's one of our guys that they're looking at. They're looking at Kuntz. I said that he seems to have injuries. All of these guys have seemed to have injuries, but a couple of them we can't find what their injuries was because it was undisclosed. I don't know. I don't know why they wouldn't just say everybody's injuries are undisclosed. Why would you give any insight on, if it was an upper body injury or a lower leg injury? That to me, that's like you're showing your hand. You want to get drafted. You don't want to tell your, employer that you had a bunch of broken bones and, maybe you shouldn't take a chance on me. I think you want to give your best interview process forward. If they don't ask, you don't tell, right?
Maybe just like arm fatigue, something like that.
Yeah, arm fatigue, STD, something.
Arm fatigue, STD.
Yeah.
What? Does he have a Roger
Yeah.
Koch?
Yeah. I guess you definitely wouldn't want people knowing that you had an STD and that's why you missed a game or something like that. That's it happens. Mono happens. So
Hey, college is crazy these days, right?
Facts.
So it looks like Allen had sustained a shoulder injury, but it was in the end of his season. He's going to be a senior, and then we got some good guys looking at. I'm really excited about the Iowa guy, but again, I don't know about his injury. Laporta had a torn meniscus. That's in his knee, right?
Yes.
That's not good. But look at
No,
Frank
it's not.
Gore. He had 2 bad knees, and look how well he did afterwards. So
Well, I can't remember if it was his meniscus though.
I think
There's
it was
a
an
little difference.
ACL. I think he had
That's
both
the
ACLs.
It was
ACLs
both ACLs. Yes.
Meniscus isn't something that you can grow back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Once the meniscus is gone, you're fucked.
Yeah, we're not. That's one reason I don't think we went after Trevor, not Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields because of his medical issues, his epilepsy. I don't think they want to take a risk on somebody like that. I think we're trying to step away from getting injured players.
Yeah, but
I don't think-
epilepsy isn't necessarily injuries. That's why I thought that they were just looking for people who just went like epilepsy. They were just finding a reason to point at to say no.
Yeah, because
That's
the way
how I
I would
look at it.
understand, yeah, the way I understood it, or the way people were talking about it around me is like the guy could have a seizure at any time and could
Well,
get hit and have a seizure or
that
whatnot.
is true, and that is true. But guess what?
Oh.
How many times have we seen it? How many times have we
Yeah.
heard about it? He's been in the league how long now?
Yeah,
It
hasn't happened. At least we haven't known about it. So
we hadn't heard about it happening before. All we heard about there's a risk. Right, there is a risk. Yes, there is.
Mm-hmm.
But he's been in the situations before, and it hasn't shown itself then? Why is it going to show itself? No, now granted, it has more of a chance now to show itself because it hasn't shown itself for this long time. But I don't think that you can just not draft a guy over what might happen in a play on a game. The same thing, he could get injured. He can hurt his throwing arm. He can be out for longer.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say he has a seizure before the game, right? And they're like, okay, it's a no-go. That'd be the same as, any quarterback having a concussion and not being cleared to play a game or, all this type of stuff. It's essentially the same thing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the only thing to watch for is if all of a sudden he starts, gets hit real hard, and then every time he gets hit real hard, he's having a seizure. That'd be something to look out for. But he's been hit. He's not having seizures.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was just an easy way for people to get out of drafting him without having to explain too deeply why they didn't want him. You know what I mean? Like it's an easy scapegoat.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because he was projected to go 1 or 2 potentially, just depending on
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knew Trevor Lawrence was going to go 1, but he was rising the stocks, and then when that epilepsy came out, then everybody was like, oh, they dialed back. And I think that
He was
a very
supposed to
good way
go 2.
easy way
They
to
were.
just-
They had
Yeah.
him projected as second the year before he even went into the draft.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't tank.
Yeah.
It was all that
No.
talk.
Yeah. The draft system it has a bit of biases for those who have been watching the draft for so long. And Justin Fields, technically he was the better quarterback overall but of course Trevor Lawrence was going to go number 1. But then there was a lot of questions, not just about the epilepsy and I hate Mel Kiper. He was making assumptions. He's not a quarterback. He's not a quarterback. So let him fall. Let him fall. Let him fall. And they said that even if he goes to 15, New England should not pick him up. But it just shows you how Mel Kiper spits all the nonsense from his mouth, thinking that he knows about football. So there are people who take his word like seriously. I personally don't care because Mel Kiper doesn't know crap. And
I think at one point he had
Justin Fields has been in a horrible situation with the Bears. He's been hit a lot, he's been sacked a lot, and he has not had any epilepsy. I've spoken to some quality content creators from the Bears, and they've told me he has not had any issues. And the last time he had a real seizure, he was a freshman in college. So it's been a while. So it really showed you that they had a little bit of a bias towards that kid for some reason. I don't know why. I don't think it's anything, disrespectful. I just think that, some quarterbacks, are given that biases for some reason. So, but yeah, that's what I wanted to say about that.
I mean,
Mel
with our
Kiper-
injury history, I mean, I can understand why we might take it a little bit more serious than other teams also.
I think Mel Kiper at one point was actually decent at drafting, predicting drafting for people. And then at some point, the league was scared of him reaching out and talking crap to him. So then they started drafting what he said. And then, we all know about the blow up. And then after that, nobody's been scared to go against the grain. And I think he's gotten more out of touch. So with every bad pick and with every team going, oh, I just can't wait to do the exact opposite of what Mel Kiper says. You know what I mean? Like, I think he has put himself in this situation, mostly from smelling his own farts. You know what I mean?
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, because when he started out, he was doing everything.
When you start thinking they smell great, that's the issue. Now, checking them to make sure nothing's wrong with you, I understand that. You know what I'm saying? I got to do a little brand check every now and then to make sure, I'm not eating things I should be. Feel me?
Well, look, Mel Kiper Jr. said Jamarcus Russell's the next greatest thing. He said he's going to be a star in the NFL.
Oh,
I mean, he has done that to himself. He's done that to himself. He has done this over and over again to himself. And still he's out there. Apparently he's entertained because he's still on, TV shows and whatnot. I don't listen to him. If he says draft him, I say don't draft him. But that's just, me.
Yeah. Yeah, I seen the documentary on him of how they say how he picks, and almost every pick he picks is wrong.
Dead wrong. I'm telling you, he made this boat. He was right in the beginning to where people went with his deal, right? And then he kind of like eviscerated people that didn't, pick his person. Then he got out of touch. You know what I mean? From smelling his own smarts, thinking they're good. And then now everybody just hates him. And he's only on TV because he's a name and he spits out picks.
I mean, it is a hard job to do, and granted, it is easy once we know the answer, to judge people. But I get what you guys are saying.
Yeah, and I think it's gotten easier maybe for his job because now more and more people think they can do it. Again, like when he first started out, he was doing it all pencil and paper. Now we have this thing called the internet, and it makes the world a little bit smaller and easier for us to communicate with people. You don't even really have to communicate with people to figure out stuff about people.
With the way the mock drafts go, you can get a good consensus of a big, huge. You know what I mean? Like it's like peer relief studies. You know what I'm saying? Peer review studies.
So where he was kind of doing it more on his own, he didn't have a big audience to help with, because right now we're all sitting here bouncing back and forth ideas and saying, oh, this guy, we're talking tight ends, running backs, and we're even talking guards and tackles.
We could watch a lot more tape together too. Like I'm watching certain people, you're watching certain people. You tell me your best people. I tell you my best people. Then we. It's easy
I'd
work.
like to know who Mel Kiper's neighbor is. Like, does he sit there and drink a beer with his neighbor and like chit chat about football, or this is just him sitting in his own room, no one's talking to him? I'm sure he's got some influence from other people too. But sometimes too, like we're all right here too. We have feelings, and we're like, no, this guy is. We need to do this, And when Mel Kiper's like, this guy is going to revolutionize your team, and sure, he might have had some bad picks and stuff, but when you feel passionate about it, that's what we want to see too, is the entertainment, him saying, no, this is going to be, and when he's wrong, then we can go back now and say, yeah, you were wrong, but he's taking a pretty big leap out there and putting himself out there for people to come at him when he says, this or that. So shout out to Mel. I really liked him. I still like him. I like his hair too. Nice.
Oh,
so what do you guys
gosh.
think? You guys want a tight end?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So I was looking at like Davis Allen's probably going to be a day 3 pick, but I honestly like the guy Josh Wild from Cincinnati. But both of them do run blocking, and they both do pass
Time's
catching.
up. Over. Blow.
But Josh Wild, he's a little faster, just a little, size wise, they're pretty close. But honestly, when it comes to speed, does it really matter? Because Kyle schemes like Debo's not the fastest guy ever, and Kyle schemes him open all the time, right? So I don't know if speed is actually going to be a factor in who we pick. The question is, can they run block and can they pass catch? And both those guys can do both. So can Strange from Penn State? What's his name? Brenton Strange. He can also do that. He's projected to be an average NFL starter, which, them projecting him to be that, he'll probably be like Travis Kelce or, something like that, right? And the last guy is projected just to be a special teams and, backup bro. That's the guy from, I think it was Alabama, Braden Willis. And I don't know. I'm not an NFL scout. We never know what a player's going to do until he's in the league and, you see him play.
Well, that's a good point, David, because you got Ross Dwelley, right? And he's got supposedly the best hands on the team, but he's not super fast. And we don't see him getting the ball very often at all. He can block, but he's not supposed to be the best blocker on the team. He does play on special teams, but Warner's our blocking tight end. He's not our passing tight end. So I do think if they go after a tight end, it's got to be a blocking and passing tight end. They kind of want that combination. I don't necessarily see that the speed is going to be a factor, but them being able to contribute on special teams is a big deal. I think that when you can go on special teams and you can play, a backup role on the team, I think that really helps your case for making the team. You look at Mostert. How many times is Mostert on special teams? That special team saved his career.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree with
Brandon
David.
Willis.
I agree with David.
Me too. I'll be back.
All right.
Drop you out of screen when you come back in. You come. Yeah, so I like that. I really do. That's a good analyst. I don't think he has to be the fastest guy either, because we got a lot of speed already. We just need to have him schemed open. And if Kyle's running Kyle plays, then he's definitely schemed open. So, but the one I like this one right here. I like his name. See, the names on the jerseys, they sell. You got something out, like Strange, people will buy that. Or Boogie Nights. I want Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights. Boogie Nights.
He's a wide receiver.
Oh.
We might end up getting to take him. Yeah, he's from Ohio, I think.
I knew you would like Boogie Nights, and it's just for the name.
Who doesn't?
I'm drawn to it too.
I
got new music for the Friday night show.
Okay.
We got We got some rock music or some metal.
Yeah, we
some
got
metal. I got a country song. I got a
It's not
God
like
mode. I got a God mode rap beat.
it's not like Adam Sandler mop all day long. It's not gonna be like PPP all day long, something like that.
Huh?
You remember Adam Sandler and the Turpentine song, mop all day long?
No,
It's not gonna be
I
like
don't remember that
PPP
one.
all
I
day
remember
long.
piece of S car. Anyway, back to the
Sam
action.
Laporta sounds really interesting because he came from Iowa, and Kittle, and I think a lot of people are gonna try to go after this guy, or a lot of fans are gonna want us to go after him. And I get caught up in the schools. If it's if just because you go to a certain school doesn't mean that we should draft you. But if that's the guy, then I'm gonna trust the process. I just want them to draft somebody that's healthy. Go after the guy with STDs, not the torn meniscus. Because you don't have to kiss anybody in the locker room, right?
Right.
We haven't had a decent, Jordan Reed retired kind of early on us, and we haven't had a decent tight end too in a while. I mean, but I'm not sure what kind of tight end they're looking for because I'm kind of thinking strictly blocking because, I mean, we already have too many, not enough balls to go around, and if Danny Gray's going to show up on the scene, I mean, I don't know how much we would be interested in a second, basically a fifth option almost in the team.
Well, it depends on the personnel. And the other thing is, too, you want a guy, you're looking for George Kittle's replacement, right? For when he retires, you want a guy who knows the system and this and that. So you're going to want a guy who can, whether he can catch balls now, well, he'll need to by the time George retires. You know what I'm saying? So
this the Zach Kuntz, there is a lot of variance on his size. There's 6'8" and a quarter. At the combine, I believe he measured 6'6" and 5/8. But during his senior year, he only played 5 games, so that means he was hurt. That's his 5th year senior year because he transferred to Old Dominion to actually get some game time in. His official senior year, he caught 73 catches for 692 yards, 5 TDs, QB rating of 78.4 when targeted. I'm gonna believe the Underwear Olympics measurement of 6'6" and 5'8" though, because those guys don't mess around. They'll make you take your cleats and shoes off, right?
right. Those are probably the one stats you can actually guarantee that will be, consistent throughout somebody's career. You know what I'm saying? Like their height, not their 40 time or their bench press, but they just height.
Yeah.
I think if you train for a certain thing, you're going to be really good at it.
Exactly.
Because you're training for it. And that's just how I look at it. Let's put these guys in full helmets, pads, and let's get them on some turf.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take those gym shoes off, put some cleats on them. Let's see what the numbers are now.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
I think they're going to go to that. I think that's been a point a lot of people are saying, and it's slowly being heard. I think they're going to have to start putting these guys in pads and making them do their 40 in pads. You can still see them run down in shorts and sneakers, but they're going to have 2 40 times. One in pads and one in out. And they're going to say, oh, well, that's game speed or that's game clock. No, that's a little different. It's a little different. And I think
I don't want to see you in the same stance as you play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think they're getting rid of the combine within the next 2 years.
I don't think
agree.
they are. I
agree that
I think they're
if
changing
you're like a cornerback and a wide receiver, those are the only 2 positions that should do the 40-yard dash, because the 40-yard dash is basically the measurement of how fast you can get down the field for a punt. I don't know. It's useless. It's dumb, but the players love doing it, and the league likes watching it for some reason. But say you're like an edge rusher, they should design something for edge rushers. So instead
you
of
need
just
a 10-yard.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Really, all you need is a 10-yard. A
I
10-yard
think
dash.
linemen should do. I think linemen should do like a 15, because a lot of
Okay.
times they're running around the offensive lineman, and then the quarterback's trying to take off too, so they end up going around 15-ish yards, total.
Yeah. Yeah. I think every position should have like a specific.
They already measured the 10-yard split. So they know that that's a good key point there, is that 10-yard split. So most players, that's all you need to worry about is the 10-yard splits. Running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, cornerbacks, safeties.
I mean, it is kind of entertaining trying to watch a 340-pound big fella, a thick fella, just muscle his way through the 40. But at the same time, that you can see he's like dying towards the end.
I think I read that the NBA is starting a combine as well.
Oh, they have their own. It's not as fun as the NFL. It's so boring. Basically, you have like 60 players. They're shooting hoops, and then you have like coaches going and like teaching them one-on-one stuff. It is so boring. I would not recommend watching it.
I like watching it. I see it. It's entertaining. It's fun. It's gotten a lot bigger with the NFL Network, and for a long time, there's a lot of dead talk, but that's sometimes how you were able to find out about players and stuff like that too. Like Zach Wilson last year, he had that one pass, and it put him over the top and made the Jets go out and draft him. So sometimes, and like the quarterback for the Chargers, I'm thinking of his name. He got the pro day. Yeah, he got the pro day, and that really made his stock go up too. So it is nice, but I think it's not fair to everybody, but wherever in life is really fair. Not everybody can be invited to the combine. There's only so many seats. There's only so much time for people to be on the field doing their drills and stuff like that. But what I do think is interesting is just fans are being able to get to go see it. And, if the NFL can make money on the fans getting to go and see this kind of stuff, then, the NFL needs to take a charge and go after it. I just don't want them seeing, them selling tickets for like $60 and $80 to go to the combine. It's like, make it cheap, make it fun and friendly for people to get to go to, $10 or $15 ticket, something like that,
Yeah, this was the first year the NFL actually let fans in the combine since they started televising it in 2003.
Levi was saying that the draft is going to be the same way. All you have to do is be there and like sign up for it, and you can get in for free.
Yeah,
which I think is awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think being able to do that, it creates more of a buzz, and you're already making money off the media aspect of it anyways. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if you kind of make it a little more inclusive, I think it will make it even more sought after. You know what I mean? And more coveted.
Yeah, because fans want to be there. They want to be part of it. They want to meet the players. So
I have a question. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Korey.
Yes.
yeah.
We been to have the Super Bowl, host the Super Bowl in 2029?
What?
Levi?
Oh, they're putting the bid out. They put the bid out. I don't know if they won the bid yet or not, but they're trying to get a Super Bowl, and I think that's why they asked the league for money so they could revamp the stadium.
Yeah, no, they did that for the World Cup.
I think it's like a 2-in-1 type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like sorry, go ahead, John.
Yeah, because this June, actually July, they're doing a few games of a global soccer tournament known as CONCACAF. So they're trying to get that ready for that tournament. Next year, they're going to hold another global soccer tournament. They're going to have games at Levi's, and of course, they want to get the Super Bowl. So, but international soccer rules, meaning you need to have specific grass, none of that field turf, none of that bullshit. So I think
Got the
Jed
swirly,
York
so I
and
don't know if you guys lost us or not, but we're back.
What's up?
My screen went black on me, so I don't know if you guys lost me or not, but I'm back. So yeah, we're gonna do the World Cup, and they're trying to get the Super Bowl right around at the same time.
So one thing I do is when the world goes black for me, I just when it come back, I don't say anything, and I wait to see what's happening. just saying.
Yeah.
Where were
You
you,
can
John?
tell, right?
And also, Jed York is asking to borrow $150 million from the league, not from his own pocket. So he's not. And never mind. I'm not going to even go there. That's our owner.
Hey, I gotta take off. Thanks for having me on, guys. You guys have a good day. Mark my word, Dylan Brooks is going to be suspended, and tell a friend to be a friend to sub a friend. Thanks.
What?
Thanks, Steve.
All right, buddy.
All right,
Take it
have a
easy.
good one.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Oh, Bebop just noticed my name. I got dubbed that during the Friday night hangout stream over at No Borders, Bebop.
On T Slayer. I like it. On T.
Yeah, I got the picks, Ryan. I just don't want to add him in because I don't know if I can add him in right now.
Oh,
I can do it with my
it'll
phone.
probably mess up your. It'll
Yeah.
slow your stuff down.
Yeah, so I'll wait. So if we do this again later or something, I'll be a little bit more.
Korey,
have a little bit more
send me your
bells and
email
whistles.
address.
Okay.
I'll send you all the overlays too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm definitely thinking tackle, tight end. I'm going to say running back and kicker. I think those are the 4 players we walk away this draft with, and
Mm-hmm.
I think we got 11 picks. I don't think we use all 11 picks. I don't, but I don't want to be mad either way.
I think the Niners are going to probably move up to the 4th round to eliminate 2 or 3 of those picks. So we don't get 11 players. Plus, we're also going to sign undrafted free agents like we always do. So, yeah.
Well, I could see us actually, making a package good enough to get us up in the 2nd round. And the main reason I want the 2nd round is because that's that's going to be one of those borderline right tackles that could develop into a left tackle. But we don't know if any of those guys are even going to follow. I mean, the trenches is highly valued. Tackle is incredibly highly valued.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if any of those guys are good. Like Blake Freeland, Bergeron, and what's the other guy? Duncan. Those are the 3 guys that could possibly be. Oh, Steen from Alabama too. So those are the 4 guys that could possibly be there at 99 from what all the mock drafts are saying. But the mock drafts are so wrong, it's not funny.
I know.
The last 3 years I've been paying attention to this, and the mock drafts are far. I mean, they're way off compared to what actually happens.
Yeah, I agree with David. Like, just because PFF, one of the websites, there are many draft websites, but everyone uses that one, and they rank everybody. And the Niners have the 99th, the 101, 102, and around that range. When you look at the 90 all the way to the 115 selections, there are a lot of selections that are very beneficial to the 49ers. But what I've learned from the 49ers is that do not go with the projections, and you just go with what they really need. And Brian said we need tight end, which I agree. Maybe they're going to go with a tight end, or maybe because we don't have, maybe later in the draft, later we may get a kicker because Robbie Gould left. So you try to make your best guess and see what the Niners do. But I got a feeling that the Niners are going to do something that they always do that will make no sense, but that will make sense next year.
Yeah, because like you said, John, and I think a couple other people said, the Niners draft for next year. So this year's guys are going to be for next year. So we got the guys on the team this year. That's why they always come in confident and say, oh, no, we know who's starting. because they know from last year these guys have been groomed to start, and that's not always the case, but that's been their plan. So there's a good chance that our right tackle's already on the team, but if we draft a tackle, then like Ryan's saying, that's just future for us for Trent Williams later on in his career or anybody else. So there's a good chance that
Yeah.
there's a good chance.
Well, a lot of signs point at Nick Zakel. He's got the length, he's got the arm span, he's got the athleticism, but it's just like I'm trying to find out, where did he practice? Where did the 49ers practice? I've Googled the question in 30 different formats, and I cannot find anything on where the 49ers what position they actually had him practicing last year.
Yeah, he's just all over then. They must have had him learning everything, or they just didn't want to say anything. And I must say it again, guys. What's going on with that Gutierrez guy?
Oh, bro.
I mean,
Gutierrez.
Yeah, I mean, why is he here if we're not going to use him?
Because he's raw, and he hasn't.
Dude, if he's athletic, why don't we use him as a fullback? I mean, that guy's so freaking big. He'll run through the middle. He'll hit the hole. He'll take all three linebackers out. You know what I mean?
But he's slow. He's slow.
Maybe even use him as a tight end, a blocking tight end, or I don't know. I mean, sooner or later, you're either raw and you get pounded out into a hamburger and you're good, or you're wasted, right? So I don't know. They didn't even let him play in the Mexico game last year. I thought that. I mean, he should have got at least one snap, or
he should have gotten a snap.
Like, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, he was part of that Ron Rivera international program that they're trying to branch out and bring in international players that play the game of football. And Gutierrez actually had some American high school and American college football, and then he, in the last couple of years, went back to Mexico, and then the Niners really liked him. They saw something. I saw a video where him and Adam Peters, communicated very well in English and Spanish. So I didn't know Adam Peters knew some Spanish, but if Adam Peters saw something that why he's on the team and why we're going to keep him on the team for, is it now going to be 3 years now? That's something. I'm not saying he's a transcending talent, but we will see what the Niners do with him, because they have him listed as a center. I don't know if that's his position, but every website like Niners.com and other places have him listed as an interior offensive line or center.
And that's a big center. That's a big center.
It's a huge center.
Right. So I don't see why we're not using him at right tackle unless he really isn't that fast or he can't move around or something. But then again, if he's been on the team for 2 years now, at a certain point, if we don't think we can work with him, I mean, I know he's not taking up a roster spot, but this isn't like, the soup kitchen, is it? This is an NFL team, right? We want the best out there, right? We're not just
shout out to other guys.
I mean, like,
yeah, I got some breaking NFL news. Ooh. So y'all, we've all heard that the Titans are possibly going to trade Derrick Henry. So right now, the Cowboys and Eagles are making offers.
Yeah, Tony read that.
I don't think I'm afraid of that. I mean, is anyone afraid of that? Because the running back shelf life in the NFL isn't long. Frank Gore was, he's different. He's different.
So our friend Little Spongy, I was talking to him on another stream. Shout out to Little Sponge. He's cool. And he was telling me, when we get Derrick Henry, we're gonna win. Well, not one, not two. Copying that phrase. Shout out to Little Sponge. He's very optimistic.
Yeah, I heard it was the Eagles. So if they haven't made the deal yet, that's good. I wouldn't like him going to the Eagles. I think him going to Dallas, that would be better for us because I think Dallas could waste him there. But the Eagles might actually use him.
Well, cap wise, how is he going to fit? I mean, the Eagles, they re-signed who they re-signed, and then they just signed Jalen Hurts to a monster contract. How are they actually going to fit him under the cap?
If he cuts his hair, is it cheaper? Like if he cuts his hair, does it affect the cap a little bit different? I tell you what, man, he is Tennessee. So if he leaves Tennessee, I don't see the Titans doing anything. I don't see him being good at all this year.
Ryan Tannehill relies on Derrick Henry to keep him, kind of clean, kind of. Derrick Henry is their offense. Ryan Tannehill just kind of supplements.
Yeah,
and oh my goodness, if they trade him, what are they going to do? They're going to trade up and take a running back, which is something you don't see many running backs going high anymore. But anyway, Korey,
I got another question. So it seems like the Jets have fallen out of trading for Aaron Rodgers, right? Because they want to give a first round. We may want a first round pick. And that's the hold up, signing him, drafting him.
Well,
is that true?
Well, there's a couple things holding it up. Number one, if the Packers trade him, they're so hosed on the salary cap hit, they're taking the dead money. It's not funny. So, I don't know what they're looking to do. If they could restructure him and then trade him, I don't know. If they're not going to restructure him, but they're looking to trade him, it would be after June 1st, because then that drastically reduces their dead money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. I think we're still in play for him. And I do. I think we're still in play for him. I know you guys don't want him, but there's definitely there's a will and a way, and there's an opportunity. If the Jets don't get him, like John was saying the other night, is he really going to go back and play for Green Bay? I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's kind of made his name known, his voice heard, that he doesn't want to be there anymore. So we will see if he goes back to the dark.
Yeah, in that video, they did when they was talking about that. That's why I say, can I believe this statement they're making? Because they showed him in a 49ers jersey.
Yeah, Tony brings up a good point.
I have to agree with Tony there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. He was playing golf, I think a month ago or a month and a half ago, and the camera, and someone said, "You're going to 49ers?" He said, "Hell no," or he's like, "No way," or something. He hit the ball.
Yeah, but the joke about that, or the argument to be made, is he said he's not going to San Francisco, and we play in Santa Clara, so that's why they're like, he said it kind of crookedly. I don't know, but I don't know. I don't think he's coming. I really don't. But if he was, I think we got a Super Bowl this year.
Ryan, you did a little video thing. Ryan, No More Sports. He did a little video thing on him. I've been watching.
Mm-hmm. Brian,
yes. I'm sorry. I was talking and muted.
That's how you did a little video on me. Like he's talking, and then you say something. Interview.
Did you see the video where I did a video where there's a guy, he said that the Eagles, the Cowboys, and the 49ers are the top teams in the NFC, and that it was like the Army meme where there was Army guy, and then a clown, and that he was saying that the Dallas Cowboys was one of the Army guys. You ever seen where they're all stacked up and everybody's got their guns and they're about ready to go, and the first two guys are in their camos and the next guy is in a full like clown suit, and then everybody else is all camo again? It's a meme. Anyway, so this guy's saying that the Niners were the clown in that meme, and that the first two guys were the Dallas Cowboys and the Eagles. And I made a video clowning on him, and it's one of my most viewed.
Oh, I saw that one. That made me laugh so hard. Guy can't cut his crust.
Yeah, I'm taking advice from somebody who still needs a crust cut off his sandwiches. Like, no,
sad. Never
please.
mind.
Like, I don't know how you see what happened in that NFC Championship and go, oh, yeah, Ryan, the 49ers are frauds. What are you talking about? They still had a fighting chance after they had no fighting chance. You know what I'm saying? How do you still have a fighting chance when you have a no fighting chance? It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, even after Brock Purdy left the game, we still scored a touchdown. We silenced the crowd. The crowd got really quiet. They went, what? It was 14-7, and then that's when Josh fumbled the ball, and that's when they took over. But we were still in the game, and I think even if
Smack
Josh
you in the mouth.
I think if he wouldn't have gotten hurt, we would have found a way to win the game in the end. I really do, because he would have went into the locker room. Everybody would have like given him a pet talk, maybe slapped his shoulders or something, slap ass or something. And, he come out a little bit more confident. And I think Kyle would have figured out a way to scheme him and get the ball out of his hands, because the guy's been in the league as long as he has. I just think he was just really nervous to begin with. And
Deer in the headlights.
yeah, I'm giving the guy more credit than he probably deserves. But, again, if I ever meet him in real life, I don't want to be like, hey, you're that guy on that one Bryant Culp YouTube channel.
That's why people tune in. You are different than me, and that's why they appreciate your streams in certain ways, and they appreciate mine and others. You know what I mean? So don't change you.
Yeah, and it's not, against anyone or anything. This is just an opinion, but I just want to be professional, like polite. If I was talking to the person face to face, I would say just hopefully the same thing. Like, hey, did you get hit and looked bad after you got hit? So, but that's why you play the game. You never know what's going to happen. But I want the Eagles. I want the Eagles again this year. I hope we beat them.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get to play them in the beginning of the year too, not in the middle of the year or something like that.
I want to smack them week 1.
Yeah, I really want them week 1 too, and that's a good chance that it could be week 1. It could be like Monday Night Football too. That would be a really good game to open up the season.
Yeah, it would.
Them or Cowboys? That's who I want for week 1.
I think the Cowboys come to us this year, if I'm right. I can check real quick. I have the banner.
Yes, they do. They come to us and we go to Philly. That's why it's probably, and I'm guessing we're going to have a rival in some sort of way a week 1. So I'm thinking we might actually go to Philly week 1.
Yeah.
But those are the 2 games I'd want to see on week 1.
Yep. Oh, it's Terra Dome.
So NFL, we listen to us.
Yeah, Terradone's my guy. I've known Terradone for a while. He's a good guy.
Man, I just can't
Everywhere
wait for
I see
the
Terradone.
draft. I don't know if there's going to be any surprises where everyone's watching day 1. And then you hear the commissioner, we have a trade. The Niners move up to the first round. I don't think that's going to happen. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
The only way I see it happening is like some kind of weird trade, like a Brandon Ayuk trade or something like that. I don't think Elijah Mitchell will get us a first round pick. I don't see us being able to trade too many other players besides those 2, unless it's a bunch of picks. And I don't see us swapping all our picks to try to move up to the first. What would you think, John? How would you get into the first if you're the 49ers?
Let's see.
Just suggesting Brandon Ayuk doesn't mean you have to trade him. That's just an idea or a proposition to get to.
Well, hypothetically, if we do move up to the first round, we could use our 2 highest compensatory picks, 99 101, and then we could take a future second round, and probably a player to get to the first round, because it's not gonna be cheap.
So you would trade a player.
That's probably like the best way to get to the first round. Of a future second round,
Yeah.
a conditional that can turn to a first round depending on how good the rookie plays. 2 compensatory picks is basically like a second round. So basically, a sort of like a fictional second round, fictional second round next year that can convert to a first round, and probably a player. But I don't think so. But hypothetically, that's a little, because what's that thing they do that draft like math board, like how you, like a first round pick is like worth all your selections or whatever, and then that it's a headache, but that's how you would try to make it work.
All right,
Well,
Corey. Same question.
let's throw in Jake Brindle in the. He's the player. I mean, no, we probably have to give more draft picks to get rid of him.
He said Jake Brindle. Because David McNiner is a big fan. He has a poster of Jake Brindle.
All right, David. We'll go to Corey after you. How would you get into the first round?
Ooh, boy. I don't think it's going to be an easy thing to do. I could trade anybody I want.
Anybody. It's no hate. It's just how would you get into the first round?
Wow, it's going to take a lot to get into the first round because how highly valued those picks are. But I would seriously be looking at I like Armstead, but he has plantar fasciitis. Just thinking the expandables type of thing, guys, because signing Hargrave and having all those other guys we have on the interior. Well, let's throw in Javon Kinlaw. Let's I don't want to trade away Danny Gray. I really don't. I don't want to trade one of our superstars. But let's throw in Javon Kinlaw and Eli Mitchell, like the 99 to 102. And I'm wondering if that would be enough to get us in there. And then, knowing our
Corey,
luck, Eli Mitchell would have a great career,
Yeah. How would you get into the first round, Corey?
Okay, maybe I trade 2 of our third rounds. And maybe a future second round and Elijah Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
Brian.
Even though I like Elijah Mitchell, but he don't can't last the whole season. To me, he always injured.
Mm-hmm.
I like where Corey's going. I think that's probably the most reasonable way to get there. That's to me.
Shout out East Coast Red and Gold. Hey, Jess. How you doing this
morning? What up, Jess?
So I have 2 players that in my hypothetical I will trade away Pepper and Witch Mishnowski. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Because you could probably get a good grab for those. I mean, that's 2/3 of our special teams unit right there. So if they walk or go to another team together, they probably go to the Dolphins too. So you could probably put a package deal and send him to the Dolphins. It's not a bad idea, John. Or you could send him to the Texans, possibly. That would actually be a good idea. I like it. Let's call D'Amico. We can get that set up. But I think the fastest way to get into the first round, if the Niners really, really wanted to do it, is trade Brandon Ayuk to the Giants. I think right over the page, it would be him, and we'd probably get their 25th pick. So, that's not a fan favorite. That's not necessarily the best thing to do, but I think that's the quickest way.
You see, one person will be so happy if that happened is our New York Giants friend, Mr. YTC. He said, I remember I proposed that to him. He said, say less.
Well, if you guys don't, Steve-O brings up a good point. The Dolphins don't have a first right now, so we might have to hit that up with the Texans. But if you guys don't mind, we'll go a little longer, and then we'll jump off here. I do have a friend coming in. Guys want, hang out a little longer, we'll hang out a little longer. I'm going to bring in Teardown. And if Korey, if you'd like to bring him in with your great intro, I'm going to bring him in now.
Oh, goodness. Teardown, say. My friend, Bryant's friend, Teardown.
I can't. What's up, gentlemen? What's up, gentlemen? Happy Sunday. God is good. God is great. And we celebrate the San Francisco 49ers. It's draft week coming up. Let's get us some ball players. Let's get up some good folks. Brian Culp is at the helm. As they said on Star Trek, you have the con. I said hello to the wonderful Tony Culp, always supporting her, man. That is how you do it, man. You got to have Tony Culp out here just, ain't nobody better than my man. Ain't nobody better than my man. You do your thing, young sister. Crazy about you. Hey, fellas, everybody, Border Sports to see you. The Auntie Slayer, Lockdown Davis, what it is. JJ, holla back.
Yo,
I coined that term. Just so you know.
Please do. I'm in the business of giving edification. The Bible says edify, build up. I'm here to build up.
As far as we know,
negative. I'm not with the
negative. As far
negative.
as we know, the aunties always get their Chinese or their fortune cookie.
Yes, don't they?
Yeah. Well, that was the saying is sex is like Chinese food. It ain't over till you both get your cookie.
Hey, ooh, a little spice, a little spicy.
So we
check
in
dark in the morning,
right? A little morning after.
All
right. Good morning, Teardown. So we're just going round robin. We're talking a little tight end in the morning, and then we got a little bit off a little bit, and we just been talking a little bit about the draft, casual talks. But if you were the 49ers and you were trying to get up into the first round, it doesn't matter who you trade. It doesn't matter what you stack. You can add up picks in the future. But if you wanted to get up into the first round this year, what would you do?
If it were General Manager Teardown, I'm looking at the production versus the dollar amount. Man, I think it's been said. Armstead, and Kinlaw. Hey, baby, y'all can go ahead and exit the building and let us get a first rounder and let us get right there in the pocket and let us get a right tackle that moves the needle. Let us replace McGlinchey with something that they haven't even seen before. I don't want just somebody. I don't want just a McKivitz. I don't want somebody who's a seat filler. They have seat fillers at the Oscars. When the stars go to the bathroom, you can put a seat filler in there and that's okay. No, I want the most menacing, physical, intimidating offensive line that this league has ever known. I want a comparison and contraction to the great Trent Williams. I want to come off that line where we can run the ball on people 30 times a game and they will be intimidated by the San Francisco 49ers. I'm asking for a guy like Darnell Wright out of Tennessee. I'm asking for a guy like Elijah, what's his name? Elijah Johnson out at Ohio State, DeJuan Jones at Ohio State, the Ohio State University. And if he is looking today, my new friend from Shepherd University in West Virginia, Joey Fisher. I want everyone within the sound of my voice, when you get a chance after the great Mr. Culp's show, I want y'all to look at the highlight film of Joey Fisher from Shepherd University. He's wearing number 76. Watch, he's got more pancakes than IHOP. He is out here dominating. That's what I am trying to bring to the San Francisco 49ers. Great franchises have great offensive lines, and it would start with a young man like Joey Fisher from Shepherd University. Mel Kiper has projected him at 99 for us. If we can get him, man, if he's out there, Mr. Joey, I'll say Mr. because a long time ago, when you see people 6'5" around 300, we used to have a saying for guys like that. You know, we used to call them Sir. Mr. Fisher, sir, if you would be so inclined, please come to the San Francisco 49ers and make us the menacing franchise that we're supposed to be. Mean, lean, and a machine. That's what I would do. As
maybe I need to dust off my cleats.
Hey, dust them
I'm
off.
almost 6'5". I got about 300. We good.
If you can pancake them like Joey Fisher, if you check out that film that I just checked out, I had to show my wife, Brian. I had to show my wife. And my wife was like, "Oh my, hey, he's just tossing them." That's
so we've all played football, you know, like backyard football, you know. So I'm playing against my wife's cousins, and they're big boys. They are big boys, and I'm a stick. They're a truck. You know, so I'm playing football. I'm on the team in high school, and I'm learning about 3-point stances and learning about leverage and stuff like that. And we're playing backyard football in the street outside, and I get down low, and they get down in front of me, and I knock one of them, the biggest one, on his ass. And everybody was like, "Oh, you know, I got a little bit of credit there." But it was just because they told me about leverage. And, you know, again, I'm smaller than them. But if you get your head down and you hit the person, they don't know what they're doing. It don't matter how big they are. It don't matter. You know, no one got hurt. It was all fun. But, you know,
you get under them, you got them, Brian. You got them, man. You got them. It low man wins. Come with an ascending blow. Move your feet. Attack their flank. I want offensive linemen, man. I do. You know, going back to the you know, Bob McKittrick and Joe Bugle and those old hogs from the Washington Redskin days, and Mike Shanahan had some menacing offensive linemen. They used to complain to the league when he was in Denver, man, that these guys were cut blocking and hurting them and doing all types of things, man, because that offensive, man, it goes back to Vince Lombardi, one of the Mount Rushmores of professional football and football as a sport. You have to have guys up front. They are the engine of the car. They're going to protect your quarterback, and that's our most valuable asset. The quarterback, usually, he's the most, I ain't going to say the most intelligent, but he's probably the most important person on the field for your offensive line or for your entire offense, for your franchise. You got to protect them and you got to run the ball. You got to intimidate. You got to dominate. You have to dictate. And it went through the Raiders. It went through the Steelers in the 70s. It went through the San Francisco 49ers in the 80s with Harris Barton, Guy McIntyre, Jesse Sapolo. It went through the 90s with the Dallas Cowboys, Big Nate Newton, 2-A, all those guys. I'm forgetting his name. Is it Larry Allen? I played against him. He was a year before me when I played at Virginia Union. You played at Ohio Central State, bringing it up through the 90s with those menacing Denver Broncos. Man, that offensive line is absolutely pivotal. We've got to shore it up. We can't have guys who are just plug and, we'll just throw that guy. We got McKivitz. He'll be okay. We'll put him in there. I don't want that anymore, man. Let's get some real menacing offensive linemen who intimidate defensive linemen and linebackers. Let's run this ball 3rd and 2, 4th and 2. 4th and 3 is nothing to us. We will beat you. We will pound you. We will surround you, and we will ground you into the dirt. That's what I would do.
Let's have a fun little conversation here, and let's do like a little game. Surprise cut. So you can give me 1 or 2 people that you think will be cut from this team this year. And Ryan, go ahead and start out. You got anything before we jump into that?
Oh no, sorry. I was reacting to something on my computer. Like, what the hell is going on? Who will be cut?
So give me,
hot
we'll
take, Trey Sermon.
Ryan.
Or not,
Okay.
sorry, Ty Davis Price. Sorry, you see how much
of the same guy.
Exactly.
TDP.
I don't necessarily want to see it happen. I just know how the 49ers track record are of finding undrafted free agents.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no way it's the same thing will happen with Jordan Mason. You know what I mean? Like, Jordan Mason saw the field and they had to sign him. They couldn't just hope that he could make it there on waivers. Every running back.
Yeah.
That's a chance.
Let's drop it to Korey real quick. Korey, let me hear your thoughts. We'll move over to the anti-slayer, then we'll go to John, and we'll jump back to Teardown. So Korey, what do you think? Who's your surprise cut for the 49ers this year?
I agree with No Border Sports.
Yep.
I think it's Price Price. How you say his name?
Terry Davis Price.
Yep. That's what I'm going with.
I have 4.
All right.
So of course TDP. I could see Ray McLeod getting cut. I could see Ambry Thomas and Javon Kinlaw. All 4 of them. Jon Jay?
What do you think, John?
So the question is a surprise cut, someone that we are not expecting. So like David said, he had 4 players that are probably like the most likely that most fans would say. And so the question is a surprise cut. I think, and again, I'm not saying this is going to happen because of his injuries in the last couple of years, Elijah Mitchell. And again, the question is surprise cut. And the reason why I say that is because if in 2 seasons, he's missed 17 games. When he's healthy and he's on the field, he can rush for 100 yards, have a couple of touchdowns, but his injuries is one of the things. So either we could trade him, which probably makes more sense, or maybe they like, TDP, or, they're very confident in Jordan Mason. He could be like an odd man out. So that's why I'm taking a very different approach, surprise, something that we are not going to see. Will it happen? Probably not, but if I had to make a surprise, like someone that we really, really like, and then they're cut, that's a good way for me to take a guess. I don't think it's going to happen, but that's a surprise cut.
Nice. Tear down. Who do you think's getting cut?
I'm going with Eric Armstead. I know this is shocking, and I don't mean to throw the whole faithful field off, but I have to look at what is my personal algorithm of what production versus salary is. And a defensive lineman gets paid primarily on every 10 tackles and every sack is about $1 million. $1 million. When you find somebody who can get 20 sacks in a year, he's worth about $20 million a year. And Eric Armstead last year, even with the injury, the plantar fasciitis, Eric Armstead was on a descent, and he only had 11 tackles and 1 sack, I believe. He warrants a first-round pick, and matching up to his salary, I think he's due somewhere in the neighborhood of $17 million next year. It's just inefficient. Now, again, please hear me in the 49er Twitterverse and everything, because I said this a couple days ago, and they were like, Eric Armstead is one of our pillars of the whole place, and I got you. I totally understand. He's a wonderful human being, and he does a lot for the community. He's a good guy. He's been there for us. He was on our Super Bowl team, but I just have to look at it like business. As Tommy Hagen said in my favorite movie, The Godfather, Sonny, this is business. This isn't personal. You can't take it personal. I'm just looking at production.
Okay, so how does cutting him affect the business end of the cap hit?
Somehow we got to get that off of there and get somebody a rookie or somebody.
What comes due? What comes due when we cut him? That's what I'm asking.
I can't give up 17 million based on. I know it's $11 million cap hit, right? $11 million.
What comes due if we cut him? What comes due if we cut him?
I think the cap
right
hit
now
is 11 million. Go ahead.
Right, but what do we owe him if we cut him?
I think he's due 11 million. I think he would be due 11 million.
So that when you cut him, all that other stuff that we owe him back down the year comes due, right?
I'm looking at production versus the numbers.
I got you. But what I'm saying is, if we're going to cut him for production versus numbers, you're going to have to restructure somebody's contract just to cut him and make it under the cap. And you're still not going to have somebody to replace him there, because you'll have to spend all that money for cutting him as towards him and not another player.
Yeah, I agree. That's I see what you're saying, Jaredome. I would like to get rid of Armstead too, because last year he's been hurt. He's had the plantar fasciitis. It seems to go from one foot to the other foot, and I don't know how it's like the hokey pokey. You stick one leg in and stick one out, and you're both hurting. I don't get it. But his salary cap this year, the dead cap money that we had hit, I would like to see him be a possible trade candidate. I don't know if we could just
love to trade him. I would love to trade him.
I don't know. I don't know if we could cut him. I think it would hurt us too much. I'd be like cutting our nose off.
Well, personal cut would be just Kinlaw. If you got to throw somebody out there just to jettison. If you just want to jettison somebody, Kinlaw has got to be the guy. All that he brought to the organization last year. I was really looking forward to him coming off for how he treated Grant Cohen for knocking his helmet off and going at him on the which went viral. I was really looking at a big year for Kinlaw. And if you just gotta cut somebody and just say, hey, be done with it, that would be the one I would go after, because you've brought in the great Javon Hargrave. Now, if we're talking about value, now Javon Hargrave is going to be a menace to society. Javon Hargrave will move the needle. Javon Hargrave is going to bring value to the position of interior defensive lineman. Trust and believe. This guy's an overachiever. This guy has leverage. He is coming off. He will beat a double team, and he will get daggone near double-digit sacks. That's what we need here at the San Francisco 49ers, who pride themselves on defense. Steve Wilks, shout out.
Cool. That'll be my next question before we end the show, and we'll just have one last question. But for me to answer the question, I will say Zane Gonzalez is my cut. I don't think we keep Zane Gonzalez. I think we get a different kicker.
That's a great call.
I think Robbie even could come back. He's even stated that he's interested in coming back, but I think they're waiting for the draft to happen and see how much money they have afterwards and people are going to get restructured. We have 4 people that could get restructured. So if that happens, we can drop down to about 30 million or go up to about $30 million. And with $30 million, that's a lot of money to be playing with. Oh, yeah. Aaron Rodgers supposedly could come to our team for 16. And if we have $30 million, that's definitely a possibility. So I think there's a lot of dominoes that still have to happen. And I'm not saying Trey's getting traded. I'm not saying anything like that's happening. But once we see what happens with the draft.
Excuse me, Aaron will accept 16?
So there's a chance that this year, if the Niners was to get him, he would only cost the Niners $16 million for this season. Next year, there's an additional $1 million. The way he's gotten paid, he's supposed to have like $100 million, but the way he's gotten paid, it's backloaded. So it's been cut up into different years. So ideally, we'd only be getting him for a 2-year rental. So it'd be this year and next year. And then at that point, we could drop his contract. So there's a possibility. I want to get Jason Hurley back on the show. Jason Hurley is very intelligent. He can drop things. And I want to get Darwin on the show too, because they know about a little bit more about the back loads and what happens when you cut people and stuff like that. But we'll see what happens with the Jets. But you brought up a good question, and let's end the show with that question. Over or under? And I think you started off, but we'll go back to you. Is Hargrave getting over or under 10 sacks?
I will say over. Based on us picking up a compliment to Nick Bosa on the opposite side and the development of Drake Jackson. I think Drake makes a step. He makes similar to the same step that Hufanga made this year. I think Drake Jackson will come in lean, mean, and a tackling machine, and he will use that athleticism. He's gonna uptick. And if you're focusing on thunder and lightning, there's a storm in the middle. So you're going to be forced to deal with Javon Hargrave. I'm going to say over 11.
Over. Like it. Korey, what do you think? Over or under? We're talking about Hargrave.
I think he's going to be over.
Over. I like it. Ryan, you want to tell us?
I'm going over too. I think there's going to be a big catalyst.
Going over?
Yep. I think there's going to be a big catalyst. And I think he's mean in there. And you've got Eric Armstead, you got Nick Bosa, and you got Javon Hargrave. They're all going to be pretty much next to each other at some point. That is a lot of talent to have to figure out with essentially 3, maybe 2 guys who you're going to block. So.
What do you think, Mr. McNiner?
I'm going to go over because, I mean, teams are going to have to make a choice. If you double team those guys, you're literally bringing in an extra offensive lineman. You're leaving your tight end, your running backs, your fullbacks. You're leaving everybody in. But you can't, if you double team all 3 of them, then our defensive backs have it easy. You know, they're double cover everyone. You know, no one's ever going to be open, so there's going to be coverage sacks. Either way, they're screwed. So I'm going over.
So far, 5 overs. John, what do you think?
All right. So currently, if we had to, look at the depth chart and, say the season started right now, Drake Jackson, we drafted him. He's the supposedly, starting edge rusher. Hargrave, Eric Armstead, Nick Bosa, and of course, Javon Kinlaw has been relegated to the backup. So let's say those 4 guys are there. Nick Bosa always commands double team for whatever the reason. He always commands that. I don't know too much about Drake Jackson, but when he played 15% of the snaps, he played really well in those 15%, had the highest pass deflections because of the snap. So that Drake Jackson could be a really, really good player if we let him play more. And then you have Eric Armstead, he I'm not saying he's bad, I'm not saying he's good. And then you have Javon Hargrave. If he plays the way he played in Philadelphia, and you look at that defensive line, 6 sacks could be a good starting point. Maybe he could have more. So probably he could go over more than 6, but I think that is a really good number to put over under. So I think 6 is a good number. We could go 7. We'll see how. And of course, Chris Kasarik is a great coach. Let's not forget that. So I do agree that our defensive line is going to be scary next season. And of course, Hargrave is going to benefit with the great players around him and a good coach. Over.
Awesome. I love it. I really do. I appreciate everybody coming. If anybody wants to expand on that a little bit, I'm going to drop my dad joke, and then let's go right on the table after that and tell everybody
what you got,
doing.
Bryant. What you got, Bryant? What you got? Over or under?
I'm going to go on. Oh man, I'm going over. I'm going over. I think there's just too many guys coming at you at this time. You got Bosa. Bosa got 19 sacks last year, I think. And then, someone's got to eat on the other side. You can't double team Bosa and then the other guys not have any production. If Kinlaw is healthy, that's a big boy to stop. I know he's got problems with his knee, but he's a big boy to stop. So if they can just have him run at somebody, maybe just don't even line up. Don't get in at the point stand. Just get back. And when they say go, run at him like you're a linebacker or something like that. Could you really stop him if he's running at you? Dude's a gorilla, right? It's super huge. So I would probably move out of the way. I'd be like, hey, I know you're my quarterback, but I ain't getting run over by a semi. I've already got hit by a truck. I got hit by a truck when I was a little kid. I'm not doing that again. So everybody, make sure you look left and right and then left again before you cross the street, because cars will not see you. And it's your job to look for them. So bad. But yeah, I would have to say I would go over, because he did really good with a good O-line, a good D-line last year with the Eagles. I think we got it. This is going to be the juice that we need. So let me drop in my little dip, and then we'll go around the table and tell everybody what we got going on.
Okay, am I up?
It makes everybody feel good. It makes me feel good, especially during
draft week. I will be on TED Talks Sports on Tuesday at high noon Eastern. I know we're so spread out, and thank God for the San Francisco 49ers. We're so universal. I reached out. It was a couple of people that reached me in Amsterdam. We got Jeff Van Der Holland. He's in Amsterdam. He's in
Jerusalem.
Pond. He's in Jerusalem.
Well, Nazareth. Close to Nazareth.
If he's near the Holy Land, I want to say a special prayer for him. And he said he was near Holland and Amsterdam. We're just all over the place. This is San Francisco 49ers country, which is universal. The faithful, and I got on a faithful t-shirt there, available on NFLshop.com. They're not giving me any money, but I'll be on TED Talks Tuesday. We're going to be talking about the draft. We're going to talk about those sleepers that a lot of people might have missed, and we're going to pick them up day 2, day 3, things of that nature. I'm optimistic. I'm ready to go. 12 noon on Tuesday. I'll be with Ted Talks Sports.
Awesome. All right. So if you guys haven't heard my joke on the bottom or read it, did you hear about the rat on the moon? It has great food, but no atmosphere.
But bum.
Korey, what you got going on, man?
Oh, tonight at 7.
What you got going on?
My result of the trivia of last Thursday. And then Wednesday, I'm having a trivia show because of the draft on Thursday. So I'll be doing it on Wednesday.
That's what's up.
Awesome. We'll be there. What do you got going on, Mr. McNiner?
Well, we got the round check tomorrow, or I got the round check tomorrow. Tonight I'll be on Corey Davis's draft results show at 7 p.m. Pacific, 8 o'clock my time. I think it's like 10 o'clock Eastern, something like that. And then we got, Corey Davis, Lockdown Davis, trivia show on Wednesday. And then, of course, No Border Sports on Friday, the hangout whenever I can get there, whenever I'm not slaying someone's auntie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good job you got there, auntie. Yeah.
It's got its perks.
Very nice.
Awesome.
Nicely done.
Jon Jay, what you got going on, John?
You see, in an hour, I'm doing another NFL, a 49ers draft video. Basically, if you guys seen the thumbnail already, I'm talking about possible replacements, or some of our good players are getting older. So we got to look beyond that. They're not going to stay young forever. So I'm going to do some hot takes on that one. Not everyone's going to agree on it, but you can check it out. I got one more mock draft that I'm going to be doing sometime this week. I don't know where I'm going to be on Thursday. I know everyone's telling me everyone's doing their NFL hangout draft. So we'll see what I'll be doing this week. But besides that, if you guys are just looking for some good content, 49ers content, 49ers Ultimate Reports, I do videos, I do shorts. Anytime there's any quick news, I just drop it in the shorts. I'm doing more videos again. Got some good, upcoming podcasters who are really good. I think they're better than me. We're going to start collaborating and also bringing in some good NFL peoples, doing some shout out to Corey Davis, the idea weekly pick'ems when the season starts. So we got some good stuff happening on my channel this season. So check out 49ers Ultimate Report. Appreciate being on, as always, Bryant, and everyone on the panel.
Oh, yeah, man. I appreciate it. I like you coming on. Ryan, Mr. No Border Sports, good buddy, friend. What you got going on, man?
Oh, man, I got a show with Big Mac Sports tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Check that out. And then I'm at NWO Podcast later that night. Then we got Niners and Friends on Tuesday. Trying to figure out something for Wednesday, but Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you'll be able to catch me on the stream. I think we'll be streaming on my channel too, but we'll be doing the draft show. And then I think Friday night, still going to do a call-in show. We're going to be a hell of a trooper, I think. You know what I'm saying? Go from draft straight into the call-in show. So that might be like a 12-hour day.
Give me more details about the draft, when you get a chance. And because so far as I know, anyone's welcome that I understand, but it's I'm not orchestrating it. I would like to be a part of it, and I think I was invited. But I know Brian and Joe and Darwin and me are trying to do something. I don't know. I think Darwin was saying he's got some other people that might be coming in. So if you guys get a chance, you might want to pop in because I think he was talking to a Baltimore Ravens scout or a reporter. So they might be calling into the show and giving their draft analysis on the Ravens, I believe. So, but if as far when I get more information, I'll let everybody know as well. I do my shows Saturdays and Sundays, and sometimes we'll do a show like in between the week if something happens or we're just bored. My wife, she started doing shows. She's doing a lot better shows, I think. Shout out to her. If you haven't checked her out, go check her out. Her name's pretty easy.
She does videos. You do shows.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Does more.
She does videos. She sticks to her topic. She does a great job. Don't get me wrong. It's different. Awesome. It's a different format.
Totally different. This is where more like you can get me caught up, I guess. You can ask me some questions and then, we'll go left or right, but hers is more strictly, watch the show. She's going to tell you some information, maybe stuff you don't know, maybe stuff you do know. Leave a comment. She'll get back to you. And she's been having a lot of fun with it. And her next show coming up, I don't want to give away the topic yet, but I think everybody's going to really like it. And then for me, moving forward with this show, I'm going to still do the Saturdays and Sunday shows, but when it gets closer to like football season, I'd like to come on here in the morning, like on Sundays. If any of you guys would like to come on in the morning, we'll go really quickly because I know we want to get to cooking and watching the game and stuff. So I just want to do maybe a quick, hey, this might have been an injury or this might have happened here or there. Real quick, who do you think's going to win today? Did your thoughts change from your pick this week? So not to overlap anybody or, take away from anything else throughout the show, but just to have a early pregame show in the morning, because I think my Sunday shows, we can still drink coffee on that day. So, but those shows on Sundays are probably going to be more like half an hour shows because we want to get to watching football. So, but thank you everybody for coming. Have fun.
Thank you guys for having us. Thank you for having us, Brian.
You know how to get a hold of me. I'll reach out to you as well. Next week's show, we're going to try to have a good panel again. And again, everybody, thanks for coming. Oh, we're getting really close to doing our giveaway. I think we might break away from the 100. We might go to, no, I think we're going to stick out 100. Once we get to 100, we're going to give a coffee cup. And then I'm going to have Tony make the coffee cup here soon and probably put it on Twitter, hers and mine. So if you're not following us there, go ahead and follow us there. And then we have Instagram and Facebook, so we'll put that there too. But if you'd like to join the contest, all you have to do is subscribe. It's free. And then from there, we'll do a raffle or a giveaway, and we'll go from there. I will be doing I have a jersey I'm giving away here when we get a little bit more subs, and I've been given another jersey. So I'm really excited because my wife's aunt is amazing, super big 49er fan, faithful 100 degrees. You cut her, she bleeds red and gold, and you better not cut her. I'll tell you what. But she's going to be on the show here soon. She was on the show, Ryan's show a couple weeks ago, last week, I think. And that was a lot of fun. So we're gonna get her on the show here one day and have her in the panel. But I'd also like to do just a guest show with her sometime, because sometimes when you get the chance to talk to somebody and they can tell you about their experiences and why they're a 49er or what it means to them to be a 49er, that can be a good show. Yeah. But again, guys, thanks for coming. And with that, I think everybody, if you want, let's go ahead and say go Niners, and let's go check out Jon Jay in a little while. All right. Go Niners, guys. Right.
Go Niners.
Go 49ers.
Go Niners.
F the Rams.
Go Niners and F the Lambs.